Hello, hello. This is Justin Colletti of SonicScoop. Thanks so much for joining me. And today's live stream is going to be about a big announcement. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited by this announcement that I can barely get my words out properly. What's going on with my brain? Yes, you can tell this live stream is totally live because I totally botched the intro. But I tell you, I'm not going to botch announcing this incredibly awesome thing that I am super excited to announce to you. And it is a big upgrade to the way that I'm going to be interacting with the SonicScoop community in the future. It is our new member site and our new streaming services for courses. So we have had a whole bunch of courses. I've been putting out courses probably every other year because when I do a course, they're epic. They're like 8.5 hours. Compression Breakthroughs teaches you everything you need to know about compression on every instrument, every genre. It takes you through guided listening so you can figure out how to finally learn to hear compression as well as understand it and use it like a pro. And EQ Breakthroughs is the same way. They're all like super epic, super long. So I don't make one every single year. But when I do, they are golden for like the next decade to come, or possibly until the end of time, because I couldn't imagine making these courses more comprehensive and more useful than that they already are. But up until now, they have been download only. So you could download like all the video files and watch them, and you could download all of the practice sessions. You get multiple practice sessions and all that stuff. But there was no streaming option, which was a big bummer. And that was kind of normal when we started doing these back in, I don't know, 2015, 2016. I've been doing courses since. But now, like, streaming makes so much more sense. It's how I consume my courses. I do it on streaming platforms mostly. I prefer not to download a whole bunch of stuff. And there's so many cool features that we can add on now that we have these streaming options. So I'm going to share my screen with you and give you a little bit of a look of the platform. We're using this new platform that is going to have all of the courses in it. And not only can you stream them, adjust the speed, but there's also all these great ways to interact with me and with other members. So let me give you a view of what it'll actually look to you. Here is, if you now go to members.sonicscoop.com, you'll have access to all the courses here. In addition to this site, we're also unveiling a community membership where you can get mixed feedback, mixing challenges, a community of like-minded peers that you can learn and grow with, and Q&A sessions where I'll answer all of your questions. But right now, you're also going to be able to, here in the course section, ask questions on anything that comes up in the courses, and I will answer you directly within the course. And any questions that you have become a public note below that module. So here's the major courses: Mixing Breakthroughs, the first one I did, the complete roadmap to mixing. It's a great place to start. I mean, it really is about giving you a whole and complete system for mixing. So you know how to start, what to do in the middle and in what order, because I really think that is exceptionally important, and how to know when you're done. It really is all the advice I would give you in our first handful of coaching calls if you were to do one with me, and more. There's a whole bunch of mixed walkthroughs, but honestly, the huge portion of this course that I think is extremely helpful is the exercises that I give you in the beginning of the course. If you get through just the first major 5 exercises in this course, I guarantee it will change the way that you mix forever for the better, or your money back. Another cool thing, by the way, of this now being on this new platform is we can, for the first time, do something like a subscription that's better than a subscription. So a lot of people have been asking for this. Justin, can I get all the courses and subscribe to them? And the answer to that is no, but yes. Or yes, but no, I don't know. The answer is now you could get all the courses or just one and get them on a payment plan where you pay for them over the course of a year. And once you're done paying for them, you keep them forever. So this is like a subscription, but better. The only catch is the way that's done is with these services like Klarna and Afterpay, and they do add on some interest. So you could be spending 15, 20% more to pay for it in monthly installments. But for some people, that's going to be much more attractive than paying for it all at once upfront. And at the end of that period, you own them forever. So it's like doing a subscription for 1 year, but then you own the stuff in the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about our membership community in just a second. That's our ongoing member thing, but we'll get into that. For now, I just want to give you an idea of how this stuff works. So I have all the courses in my account because, you know, I should, because I made them all. So I can show you all of them. This is what it would look like if you had all the courses. But I'm going to click EQ Breakthroughs, go over to View Product. You can start the course and it'll take you through. It'll show you how much you have completed. Man, some of the initial exercises in this course are so big. If you go through this EQ ear training exercises where I break down the EQ spectrum into 7 different EQ ranges that you must master. And you go through that. It's going to change the way that you hear EQ forever. A lot of people worry about, like, do I have to be able to distinguish 70 hertz from 72 hertz? Do I need to know 500 hertz from 550 hertz? And the answer to that is no. But you should be able to differentiate lows, mids, and highs. And it's very easy to get better than that and start differentiating between lows, low lows and upper lows, low mids and upper mids, low highs and upper highs. That would be breaking it up into 6 bands. But breaking it up into 7 bands is even better, where you can distinguish between your low lows and your upper lows, so your subs and your upper bass, then your mids, your low mids, your center mids, and your upper mids, and then in your highs, your lower highs and your upper highs. And just being able to distinguish between those 7 different ranges is something that I can teach you to do very quickly with some of these listening exercises. And it's going to dramatically improve and speed up your ability to mix and make good EQing choices. From there, you can break it up into even smaller and smaller bands, and I give some guided exercises to doing that. For me, I have I have, like, when I hear things, 3 different bands in the low end. And then I have like 2 bands in the low mids, 3 bands in the center mids, 2 bands in the upper mids, and then 3 bands in the upper highs. And that's how I hear things. And I kind of, over time, know what numbers are associated with those. But getting you to just hearing these 7 bands, absolutely huge. And you can go further than that too. And there's so many EQing, ear training exercises in here that are guided exercises, not just mindless exercises where you play some noise and you're like, was it 100 hertz or 120 hertz? That's fine. But these guided ear training exercises, they're on so many different elements, and they give you a sense for exactly what to listen for and to give you the words to allow yourself to describe this to yourself, to use more parts of your brain to remember what each range sounds like. So once you get through those theory and modules, then there's all these practical modules where we EQ a whole bunch of different instruments and a whole bunch of different genres. So in the bass module, I go ahead and EQ bass in like a whole bunch of different genres, so you can hear how it works in electronic music, hear the difference bass when you're doing it in hip hop versus funk versus rock, and what all these different types of bass do. I don't mean to make this all about EQ breakthroughs, but this is how the stuff is broken down. Usually I have an introductory section, a theory section that gives you the kind of mental scaffolding you need to actually learn the stuff that you'll hear later. The reason I do it this way is because I kind of hate courses that is just someone showing you how he did a mix. That's well and good, and you can watch some of those. I've watched a ton of them, and they're useful, and you can pick up a trick or two in those types of videos. I've watched a whole bunch with a whole bunch of great producers and engineers. I've also interviewed a whole bunch of amazing platinum-selling, Grammy-winning producers and engineers, asked them exactly how they do things, sat in on sessions with a whole bunch of them, in some cases mastered their work. So I get to have that side of things too. But for me, this is what I wish existed when I was learning, because it's not just about watching someone kind of intuitively mix and explain what they think is important in that moment, which is useful. This is how to acquire a skill in the most short and surefire path possible. So anyway, I'm talking up these courses. That's not what I mean to be doing. I mean to be talking up the new platform. So the cool thing with this new platform, here's ear training exercise number 2, which is based on the harmonic series. And now people can ask questions right here on the platform, and I can respond to them. You can give feedback. You can interact with each other. So any comments that you add, assuming it's not like a garbage spam comment, can stay there forever as part of like the community notes on each of these lessons. And I can add to these by putting in my comments there. So definitely check out this whole platform. Go to members.sonicscoop.com, and there you can find all of the different courses. Here you'll land on the Mixing Breakthrough store. You can hit the My Library view to take you to whatever courses you already own, and you'd see a big old list like this one of the courses you own. And then you can also add courses. It'll show you additional courses you can add down below. The other thing that I think is pretty cool and I'm very excited about is the members community. So this is the new thing that we have unveiled. We just launched it literally this Tuesday, where I did our very first meetup. And the thing I'm really excited about with the meetups here is this is the first time where you can actually join me and have multiple members. Some of you might be able to see yourselves here. Let me see if I can bring this up in full screen real quick. We can have this type. Oh, it's actually not going to bring it up because I'm not sharing my entire screen. I'm just sharing this one tab. But imagine if I can make this large. You see it's me with a few different members here. I think on this first inaugural one, we had 10 to 12 different members show their cameras and their share their audio and their mics. And we got to not just have a one-way Q&A. Like these live streams on YouTube are pretty much one way. You chat to me, I read your chats, and I respond to them. And it's kind of one way, 1.5 way communication. With these types of sessions, we get to talk together, and you get to hear and see me, and I get to hear and see you. You can ask further clarifying questions in real time. You can get to know your peers. And there's also spots where not only can you post your links in here to for the mixed feedback sessions, where you'll put in your links, ideally give me some references as well. And then we do our mixed feedback sessions where I share my DAW. I load up your mix in my DAW, and I'll often make mastering changes in real time saying, hey, this is how far it could go in mastering. These are the kinds of things I would do in mastering. And here are the differences I'm hearing between your favorite tracks and what you're doing. Relative to your favorite tracks, your snare is way quieter and darker, or way louder and beefier. You know, those are the kinds of things that we can find out pretty easily. But the other super cool thing is using a platform called SessionWire. Free plug to these guys. I'm going to load up their website if you haven't seen it yet. Shout out to Jordan for suggesting me. He's one of our members, for suggesting that I finally try out SessionWire. I have, and I've been using this for all of my coaching calls and all of my direct collaboration with mastering clients where we want to hear and share things in real time. Using SessionWire inside of the members only course, you will be able to, if you want, share with me and the rest of us your DAW screen and the audio feed out of your DAW. So not only now can I load up your tracks in my DAW and make some mastering changes, we can say, hey, pull up your track, try this change on your snare drum right now. Let's try darkening the reverb on it and adding longer pre-delay to it, because that's really what's separating the snare sound you have from some of the snare sounds you're striving after. Why don't you go try that right now? Try something like, I'm going to guess it's going to be an 80 millisecond pre-delay, but you try it. And I'm going to guess you're going to cut everything off above 6K in your reverb on this. Now, you can try that in real time and we can all listen to it and say, did Justin's advice actually work? And if it didn't, we can adjust that in real time. So man, this is going to be, I think, the best way that I've ever done these kinds of mixed feedback sessions and coaching calls. I've done this with a lot of one-on-one clients, but we can do this now using SessionWire for pretty much any of you who show up. I have enough seats in this thing, so all of you can join. And then you can basically raise your hand and you can turn on, if you want, your mic, your camera, and your screen. It's not required for these that you share your mic, your camera, or your screen, but it's welcomed and encouraged and a great way to participate and to get to know others in a community of audio engineers and music producers who are of like mind, have similar tastes in great courses and great podcasts, and are similarly nerdy to you in the same ways, I hope. So that is my big announcement for today. To round it off, long story short is that all the courses are going to be available. Still, you can go to mixingbreakthroughs.com, masteringdemystified.com, compressionbreakthroughs.com. And if you go to those, you can still see our old school long form copy pages and buy the courses that way. And you get the download version of those. If you buy through those links, I will also hook you up with the on-demand streaming for life. So you'll get that as well. But I am trying to move everything over to this one-stop shop where you go to members.sonicscoop.com. That's where you can buy and interact with all of the courses now. They are yours to stream forever for one low price. That said, if you want to get all of the courses at once, or even one course, and do it kind of like a subscription where you pay for it in installments, we have allowed that now too, with things like Afterpay and Klarna. It costs you slightly more money and it makes us slightly less money, but I think it's a cool option for those people who are looking to get something like a subscription. And then for an ongoing subscription, we've added on the Audio Accelerator community, where you get these live Q&A sessions and the live mixed feedback sessions. You also don't have to be there live to partake in the live Q&As. In fact, if you can't be there live and you send in your mix in advance, or you send in your question in advance, I'll also give you priority and make sure that your question is answered towards the beginning of those live streams, or that your mix is reviewed towards the beginning of those live streams. I'm increasing the number of these I'm doing, and we're moving away from the YouTube members platform over to this new members.sonicscoop.com platform. Is that it? Yeah, members.sonicscoop.com. It's where you're going to get all the good stuff. I think that's about all the good stuff that I have to mention. Am I missing anything? Let's go and see what's coming in the comments. Let me get over to those. One sec. Switch to my live streaming window. All right. Who's here? We got a whole bunch of our YouTube members. Benj is here. Hey, Benj, how you doing? Ricardo says hi. Hey, Ricardo. Man Network is here. Good to have you here. Andre Erlmeyer. Good to see you. Aaron Loves Gear, another one of our members. Isomatic, Braxel. Hello, you guys. Benj says, yo, Will English, you should hop on the community membership. Yes, you should. Moss asks, what did I miss? Is this a site where mixed competitions go down? Thank you for saying that, because that's another thing that's going to happen in the member section. Oh, I've got 2 more announcements on top of this announcement I've made. So definitely stay tuned for the second one, because that's very important for those of you who already own courses. Okay, number 1. Yes, we are having mixed competitions. I don't know how frequently we're going to do them. I'm thinking we're going to start with once a quarter, and if they're a really big hit and people want to do them more often, we will. But yes, I'm going to be doing what's called mixing challenges, where we'll probably all mix the same track and maybe have some restrictions to enhance our creativity in the way that we mix this track. So some general rules of engagement, things that either you must do or can't do, just to improve in one area. And we'll also have the option to just do whatever the heck you want on certain mixes as well. But we'll also have winners either selected by me and or voted on by the community. And the top mixes will have prizes. I'm thinking there'll be like tiers. Maybe there'll be 3 tiers. Maybe there'll be one that I pick and then a winner that people vote on and a runner-up, that kind of thing. So I still am planning out exactly how we're going to be doing the mixing challenges, but that is something else that's going to be in the community. Also in the community, you have the ability not just to chat with me, but to chat with each other. We have a whole little sub forum in there where you guys can interact with each other. You can ask advice and questions of the entire community, where not only I can give you written feedback, but people in the community can give you written feedback. And there is actually also the option of hosting members-only video chat rooms in here. That is a possibility. I haven't opened that up yet. But we're at least going to have the written kind of forum chat area where you guys can connect with one another and hopefully get to know each other. Jay Lino says this is a great option for learning and networking. Totally agreed. So huge. Networking in music is absolutely big for succeeding in music. Maddie Two Hat says, God damn, that mic sounds great. Why, thank you. It is not sponsored as of this moment. A JZ Amethyst microphone with a little bit of EQ, a little bit of multiband compression on it. And I think it's about it. And there's probably a limiter on there as well, just in case. So yeah, I think I also have a gate. So if I'm really quiet for a second, really low noise. And the only thing that's an issue with my gate is that if I start a sentence with a word that starts with like the letter H, like if I say, hi, sometimes it won't catch the beginning of the H. But now, oh my goodness, how tangential am I getting? This is why I script and edit my full-length courses, so they're not tangential like the podcast. Maddie Two Hats, Vision of Morpheus says, no brainer. Definitely going to sign up. Please do. Moss says, I like. Troy says, are you willing to give feedback to recorded live broadcast mixes? Yes, absolutely. Any kind of mix. I think that would be a great exercise and something great for everyone to learn in the community. Because here's the thing, when I do the mix feedback sessions, they are not only relevant to the person I am doing the feedback for, I always try to make this stuff broadly applicable so that in every mix that we analyze not just that person's mix and give them advice, but we get to always look at the principles of mixing, things we can learn from that mix that could be applied to all of our mixes, and things we can extract, here's a big thing, from the references that people supply. This is always so huge for me, is before I start messing around with your mix, I want to hear what your favorite records sound like. I want the whole group to hear what your favorite records sound like. I want us to tune our ears to that. We listen to some snippets of tracks, and I can give first my analysis of what makes those mixes work. And then we listen to your mix. So the same thing would happen with broadcast. You would give me, here's a couple of stations that I really love the sound of, or some, archived live recordings I've really loved the sound of. How do I get closer to that? And we can look at the differences in what's possible for live broadcasts versus studio recordings. And we can try to make it so that you meet or ideally beat the competition. Not necessarily trying to copy them or sound like them, but to sound more like yourself, but better in all the mixes you do. Maddie Two Hat says networking equals drinking beer with other musicians. That is definitely an option. In some musician circles, it's not always beer. Kern Sound said, are there going to be multi-tracks for us to practice with? Absolutely yes, in both the courses and in the member section. So in the courses, there are I think 4 to 6 multi-tracks in every single one of the courses. I'd have to double check the exact number, but I think it's usually around there. I think there's probably 5 on average in each of the courses, and you can download those. So if I bring back up my screen share, you can see that in the EQ Breakthroughs course, there's a module there below some of the bonuses you get, and one of them is all the practice sessions that I use in that course. You can download all of them. They're set up to import into any single DAW. And here's one of the cool things about the courses. I try to always do them in multiple DAWs. So for instance, in EQ Breakthroughs, I think I did 1 session in Pro Tools, 1 session in Logic, 1 session in Ableton, that kind of thing. And you, in those cases, also be able to download the original session files for that DAW, as well as just audio files or stems that you can import into your DAW of choice if it was done in a different DAW than the one that you use. So yes, there are multi-tracks. And then for the mixing challenges that we're going to do, I think at least quarterly to start in the members community section, there would be a multi-track at least quarterly where we would do the mixing challenges. I think doing one mixing challenge a month might be too much. But that said, if the community gets really big and some people want to sit out in certain mixing challenges, maybe we could do them more and more often. It really comes down to demand and seeing how this thing scales. Mark Keple asks, how often do you do mixed feedback sessions, days and times? Ooh, let me answer that question. But before I do, there was the other big part of this big announcement that I wanted to say, which is for a limited time, you are going to be able to get discounts on additional courses. If you already own some of the courses, like say you bought Mixing Breakthroughs and Mastering Demystified together. It's one of the most popular products. People get Mixing Breakthroughs and they add on Mastering Demystified for a discount on Mastering Demystified, and they get both for a ridiculously low price. Honestly, our other most popular product after that is probably buying all of the courses, the ultimate bundle. Some people will just get Compression Breakthroughs and EQ Breakthroughs, or just one of those courses. If you've done anything other than get the full bundle of all 4 courses, Mixing Breakthroughs, Mastering Demystified, EQ Breakthroughs, Compression Breakthroughs, if you've done anything other than get all of the currently available courses, I can, right now, we're doing a limited time introductory special where if you just got your link to this new streaming service, everyone who's bought a course in the past has gotten a link. You can now get these on streaming. Go in, sign up, check it out. Look for an email from me, and you can just respond to that email and say, Justin, I want to add on the rest of the courses, or I want to add on this one course. And right now, during the month of February, just for these next 2 weeks, I will be giving you ridiculously discounted upgrade paths. So just respond to any of the emails about these courses, asking to upgrade what courses you have. And just for this month of February, we're going to be giving big discounts to the early adopters. If you have anything less than all of the courses and you want to round out your bundle, shoot me an email, say, Justin, here are the courses I want to add on, and we will send you a custom link for a discount to upgrade to more of the courses or all of the courses. Now, Mark Kepley was saying, how often do you do mixed feedback sessions, days and times? First, I'm going to tell you what we did in the past. What I did in the past is in the members only section on YouTube, I was doing an every other month thing where actually originally I was doing 2 months in a row, I'd have a members only Q&A, and then every third month I'd have a mixed feedback session. The mixed feedback sessions were so popular, I switched to 1 month would be Q&A, Every other month would be a mixed feedback session. People requesting to have them even more. So my goal is to do at least 2 members live streams per month in the members only section. My guess is that most of the time I'll be able to do 2 mixed feedback sessions per month. I think that's a good number. I don't want to inundate you guys with a ton of extra content in the members only section and make you feel like you're missing out and not using it. But that said, if there is enough demand, I will increase the number of them. So right now I am planning on 2 members only sessions per month. When do they happen? Days and times. Generally speaking, it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays around this time of day, around 4 o'clock Eastern. Sometimes I'll be able to start a little bit earlier than that, 3 or 3:30 Eastern for people who are over in Europe. Sometimes they like when they start a little bit earlier. But generally in the afternoons, Eastern time, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And for people where Tuesday is convenient, I'm going to try to do at least 1 stream per month on a Tuesday. And for people who Thursday is convenient, I'm going to try to do at least 1 stream per month on a Thursday. So we'll have both of those options. There is a chance, again, based on demand and how many members there are, of increasing the number. But my target right now is 2 per month inside of the member section and 1 of these mixing challenges quarterly, and then ongoing text-based responses where we can chat with each other outside of these streaming times as well. So I hope all that makes sense to you. Kern Sound says, great, you got me now. Awesome. So glad to have you being part of it. Troy says, sorry, for broadcast, I meant streamed church services. Yeah, that's not maybe technically narrowcasting, I guess, if it's streaming rather than radio. But yes, absolutely, we can do it for that kind of thing. And again, we'd want to compare against, instead of comparing against major records, maybe comparing against some of the best streaming music out there, hopefully in your style. That said, we can also use commercially released records as touchstones as well. DJ Loopbeat says, thanks, Justin. Maddie Two Hat says, hey, Justin, I want to say a personal thank you as I am releasing 1 song a month this year instead of dropping a whole album 1990 style. That is influenced by your videos. Maddie, I think that is a great way to go. This is something I frequently recommend to people who are trying to build an audience. If you don't already have a huge audience yet to release music into, my recommendation is build that audience before you release a full album of 12 songs. And you can build that audience by releasing songs again and again and again and again. And if you can put out 1 song every month for 12 months, and then in the rest of that month, some little reminders and little touches and little ways to excerpt that song into other types of social media engagement or other opportunities to touch your audience, that is a great way to go. Because instead of not having an audience and then trying to serve them 12 songs, each song becomes an opportunity to build your audience. And then at the end, you've created an album. And another beautiful thing is during this process, over the course of this year, you've gotten better and better at songwriting, at recording, at producing, at mixing or engineering, if you're doing that side of it as well. So instead of doing 12 songs and, you know, at the end of a whole year that actually took you to do all 12 songs and saying, oh, I wish I was doing those 12 songs today because I'm so much better now. Now I've got to go find an audience for these songs. And now it's not new anymore. And now I never want to hear this music again. You go through a completely different process. And this is honestly the process that was much more common in the dawn of recorded music taking off. In the 1960s, it was, in the 50s, and the 40s, it was a singles culture. And I think that the current climate is conducive to that once again. Now, once you have an audience, dropping an album on them and doing the magnum opus concept album is a great way to go. Or if this is just a hobby and you don't care about building an audience or building income or a career in this stuff, then just doing your album as your project, totally valid as well. But if you really want to build an audience and have as many chances as possible for as many people to hear what you're doing and have as many chances as possible to improve at what you're doing this incremental approach that Maddie is talking about is a great way to go. Mark Kepley says, thank you, Guru. I've been listening to your videos this time during my commute for a while. Definitely interested in being a member. Mark, I'd be excited to have you in there. Yeah, this is the way that I consume podcasts. I do it on commutes when I'm driving my car, when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm shoveling the driveway, when I'm mowing the lawn. I mean, I do so much learning and self-improvement in those times of my day. And that's why I want to have a podcast that's like that. Does it get as many views as if I did like a 7-minute quick tips that's like super edited and not at all nuanced and is perfectly orchestrated to get the algorithm to love me? No, it will not get as many views as that. But can it potentially be more meaningful and useful in people's lives? I think so. I hope so. And when it comes to the courses, I know so. Check them out over at members.sonicscoop.com. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.